On February 14, 2018, Nicholas Cruz opened fire at Marjory Stoneman Douglas High School in Parkland, Florida. In only 6 minutes, Cruz killed 17 people and wounded another 15. The aftermath of this shooting had the same dark and somber tones as Sandy Hook, Orlando, Las Vegas, and every other shooting that has happened in modern history. Where the Parkland shooting aftermath shared many of the same characteristics as other shootings, there was something different about this one. Something that made this shooting the last straw. Too many lives, the lives of friends, the lives of loved ones, and the lives of family members had been taken. This time, the victims were done being just a victim. So they became leaders. The Parkland shooting survivors started the movement March for Our Lives. March for Our Lives has a clear and obvious agenda of creating legislation that makes obtaining a gun a much harder process, and to elect officials who support this agenda. Increasing voter turnout is also a major part of this movement's agenda. This movement is being led by the youth of America and for the future of America. The creation of this movement and the push for its agenda has led to a nationwide campaign for youth to get out and vote. The youngest age demographic of 18 to 29-year-olds has historically and consistently had the lowest voter turnout rates during elections. In non-presidential years, as well as midterm years, older voters always dominate the polls. This year, however, there is a surge of youth voter registration. Voters across the country aged 18 to 39 have tripled the voting turnout since the 2014 midterm elections. March for Our Lives even launched a sub-campaign of #TurnoutTuesday. The objective and the goals of #TurnoutTuesday is simply to register everybody to vote, regardless of political ideology, and encourages everybody to vote for whomever they believe to be the best candidate. The encouragement of voting in general, instead of supporting a specific candidate, is so important in reaching out to eligible voters. While March for Our Lives is a left-leaning campaign, it strives to include the youth of America in its entirety. One of the most important concepts of democracy is everyone has the opportunity for their voice to be heard, that their voice matters, regardless of religion, gender, race, ethnicity, sexual orientation, socioeconomic factors, and political beliefs. Gandhi said that, quote, "Democracy is something that gives the weak the same chance as the strong," end quote. When everyone seizes the opportunity to vote, Gandhi is right, and that is exactly what happens. I think this is a huge factor of the surge of youth voter turnout. March for Our Lives launched other campaigns to encourage youth to get out and vote, including the My First Time video. The My First Time video features stars like Chris Evans, Zoe Kravitz, Chadwick Boseman, and Scarlett Johansson, as well as March for Our Lives co-founders David Hogg and Emma Gonzalez. They all explained what it was like the first time that they did it, the first time that they voted. They encouraged people to, quote, "rise up, register, and let our voices be heard," end quote. They also make sure to point out that, quote, "our generation is the largest group of voters in the country," end quote. Even with all these efforts, campaigns, and voter registration drives, there is the possibility of failing, of youth and adults not casting their ballot in this midterm election. But that didn't happen. The 2018 midterm election was a record-breaking election. 110 million people voted, which is about 47% of the eligible voting population. While this may not appear to be a success, it by all means is, especially compared to the 37.6% turnout in the midterm elections of 2014 and the 41% turnout of the 2010 midterm elections. This is the highest record of midterm voters since 1914, providing evidence that the campaign worked and got more people out to vote. George Jean Nathan said that, quote, "bad officials are elected by good citizens who don't vote," end quote. The concept and essence of this idea was the driving force behind the surge of energy for people to get out and vote. And a lot of people tend to think that their vote doesn't matter. They think that it doesn't make a difference, and they think that it doesn't count. But those thoughts are false. A house is built brick by brick, and a tree grows leaf by leaf. An individual may seem small and unimportant, but there is strength in numbers. I think we've seen that this past election as March for Our Lives movement has pushed and encouraged the whole nation, but specifically the youth of America, to go out and to participate in our democracy.